to solve it yourself. And maybe we could be inspired by Scotland, who has this yearly nitrogen report that they make on a national level, and a plan that for actions to improve the nitrogen recirculation and the nitrogen balance for the country. So we need that kind of new mechanism on policy level.
Exactly. And the second question was that does the proposed EU bioeconomy strategy include sufficient measures for the nutrient recycling? And EU has now the open consultation for EU bioeconomy strategy. They had a bioeconomy strategy from year 2018 or something like that, quite a long time ago. And now they are updating it. The new commission decided that it's important to update it. So our next workshop, if people are still up to staying for a little while, we can discuss the open consultation. And if we can make a joint statement, I have sent some materials for the participants, and I received some more today, so it didn't include, unfortunately, everything, but after this you will get the rest, and we can discuss more details together. But if Elena is online, I was wishing that she could say a couple of words from the funders' perspective, and if this kind of initiative is good or not.
Thank you, Ilse. Thank you, Elsie, and thank you so much for inviting. Yeah, Elsie invited me to. I think, Elsie, you were a bit afraid that the participants mentioned that they would not have the time and the resources for discussing the contribution to this consultation. And though we don't see that many people with cameras, I followed the whole discussion from the very beginning. And of course, I'm also very happy to see the familiar faces that use the program resources for this very important work. So what I wanted to say from our experiences from Interreg Baltic Sea Region, we fully understand that you as project implementers are often really stretched thin because you have to navigate different aspects: technical work, administration, stakeholder coordination. And sometimes it's not so easy for you, and maybe also don't feel that this is your capacity to discuss the policy recommendations, policy communication. But this is exactly where, from our point of view, from Interreg Baltic Sea Region and the projects that we try to attract, this is exactly where your work can travel further than you think. That's why very often during our webinars, when launching the calls, we encourage you to include the policy dimension into your work when and arrange it with your stakeholders. So it's not only to discuss these issues among the researchers or among only one target group. This is what we do encourage you to use the program money to organize these discussions across the levels. And what we also have experienced throughout the program's implementation, that some issues stay on the table for a very long while, and like today was mentioned from the Finnish ministry, that we all need patience. I joined the secretariat in 2008, and the first projects that I was monitoring was Pew and Presto. I know that some of you might know them, and they were about sludge management. So it's actually a lot. The issues remain, maybe it looks like they are remaining the same, but a lot has already been achieved. But at the same time, we also see that with your work, these issues stay in the program implementation as well. So your contribution to this process is very much needed. Maybe to encourage you a bit, we did notice very positive developments which I hope Eric and Sari could confirm, at least with nodding. I will now explain what. In the previous program period, we financed our first real project platforms, the capitalization instrument where the projects were able to bring their results, and there they got additional time and additional money to work on communicating policy messages. And through 2 project platforms, BSR Water and Sumano, huge work was done to promote the results of the projects towards the policy level. So they were a contribution towards the update of the HELCOM Baltic Sea Action Plan, towards the development of the first nutrient recycling strategy at the regional level. So I think it's really pays off, but at the same time, everyone needs to see how to use the resources, because even now you can do quite a lot within your projects, not only thinking that this is my project, this is what I have planned, but use these opportunities that Elsie and other policy coordinators are offering to feed your messages towards the policy work. And why it's also very important from our point of view, what we heard from these platforms, is that the policymakers are often not equipped with the exact insights from your report, from your findings, and very often they're very hungry for real practical solutions, for those solutions that were tested on the ground across the countries. That was one of the pieces of feedback that we received. That's confirmation that is coming from more organizations was very, very important. And maybe what else to mention? We in the program continue supporting, of course, this important work. We just opened the second call for project platform applications. And the topic of closing water and nutrient loop is one of the 6 not open ones. So it's our program countries wish very much to get a good or several good ones, project platforms, including on nutrient recycling. So we are looking forward if this crowd of people would like to apply, so we will be able to support you during the development. The deadline for project ideas is the end of September. So if you, during today's discussion or later on, come up with some kind of ideas how to work on the topic that you are discussing today, with additional support from the program, with funds with funds and money, with funds and time, then we will be ready to support you. And then finally, maybe it feels like you are getting more and more requests like, okay, I'm now implementing my project. Why should I do something on top? So if these incentives are not enough, I also wanted to mention that by sharing your insights and raising your challenges today, you're also planting the seeds for your future. If you are seeing yourself in this topic in a few years, because the regulations, the funding frameworks, and the priorities of tomorrow, meaning the priorities of Interreg Baltic Sea Region, hopefully as well, will be shaped by the voices heard today or heard through the joint communication that Elsie is now trying to arrange. So if your issues will make it to the top of the agenda, policy agenda, after this joint or after the next joint workshop, I think you should also be able to see that your next project will be able to operate in a system that is better aligned with your needs. So this is how I wanted to actually finalize that. I hope that it's not a good only for the policy, but it's also good for yourself. If you see yourself as an expert developing in this topic, and I guess most of you are, if not all. So it's a bit of an encouraging word, and you know that in our program we've been supporting this topic from the very beginning, because the Baltic Sea is at the core of Interreg Baltic Sea Region. So let's see what the future brings us, but now I think this is one of the opportunities for you how to influence that future. Thank you, Elsie, for inviting.
Thank you. And so I will maybe now close the recording so we can more